very first videos, I decided to pick a kind of controversial topic, and I'm going to be talking kind of about my religious experience, and I'm going to be talking about why I'm an atheist and why I kind of want to change that now. I decided to pick a controversial topic because I didn't know much to talk about in my very first video. My other video is kind of just a trailer. I want to kind of go into some topics that I'm really interested in talking about, and this is one of the topics I've always wanted to talk about with people, but I couldn't because it's a very, like I said, controversial topic, and not a lot of people take this topic very lightly, so I decided to do this on my anonymous channel for my very first video. So to start off my little experience, I will talk about why I became an atheist and why I am one today. So I haven't had, I will talk about a lot of things on my channel, and I will go into a lot of personal details, but for now I don't want to go into too many things just because I have no subscribers and no regular viewers, so I don't know if people really want to know about that side of my life yet. But I kind of had a rough childhood in the sense of bullying and stuff, and I just remember one very distinct problem, and there were a lot of things happening in my life at the time, and I just remember I wasn't religious, but my family taught us to believe in God and everything, and I remember praying every night for a year, and I never really prayed too much, but I remember during this really bad time I prayed a lot. I prayed hoping things would get better. I prayed hoping things would stop going downhill for me, and my prayers were never answered. So that kind of was like, what happened? I thought we're supposed to pray and God's supposed to make things better for us, but things didn't improve, and I was like, okay, well, is he even a real thing? Is God a person? Is it a girl or a boy, or what? I didn't really go to church too much. I didn't know too much about religion or Christianity or any of the other religions, but I just knew they existed, and I was just kind of taught to believe in God. We never went to church or anything, but I was just taught, and because of all this, and my prayers weren't answered or anything, I was like, okay, well, something's wrong here. Why aren't my prayers being answered, but everyone else seems to have their prayers answered? So that kind of was the first thing that kind of put me off from religion. It kind of was disgruntling to realize oh, no one up there talks to me, and everyone else talks to him and they get their prayers answered. So it was really discouraging for someone who's 11, 12 years old. So after all that happened, I started to experience more religious experiences, in the fact of organized religion. I was invited to a lot of friends' churches and stuff, and most of them weren't too bad. I don't like very pushy religion or pushy churches in general, but most of them weren't too bad. But I remember one instance, so because this is anonymous, I will be talking about some family members on here, and I have a grandma, she's not related to me, it's my stepdad's mom, and she is a very religious person. I think her religion is Pentecostal, and if you know about that religion at all, you know it's I think it's kind of along the lines of evangelican. I don't know how to say that word, but it's a very, very, very serious religion. They take themselves seriously. They speak in tongues, and it's a very serious religion. And I remember being very young. I was 12 or 13 years old the first time I ever went to her church, and they were speaking in tongues, and they try to grab my hands and raise them up to the ceiling and say hallelujah, and that really scared me. I really didn't understand it being at that young age, and no one had really talked to me about serious religions like that before in the past, so keep that in mind, that as a young 12-year-old, it sounds like gibberish. It sounds like they're going crazy, talking in tongues and stuff, and I had no idea what was going on. So I told my mom, I was like, I'm really uncomfortable being at her church, and my mom was like, okay, we won't force you to go in the future. And I was forced to go in the future sometimes, just because she's a very nice woman. I love her, but I did not like her religion, and it scared me. And one of the biggest instances with that was one time we were going on a trip somewhere, and I don't remember exactly. I think it might have been a camping trip or something, and she was driving us there, and I brought my Harry Potter books along. I brought about 3 of them, and my sister brought one of them along with her because I carried my Harry Potter books everywhere with me as a child. I didn't realize that offended her religion or her in general. She didn't like that I brought them in the car. She was like, oh, this is evil, the demons are gonna come, the devil's gonna bring us down. She thought that my Harry Potter books were gonna have a bad influence on our trip, and that something would happen to us. So she basically made me get rid of them, and I didn't have to throw them away, but she was like, you can't keep them in the car. So we told our mom. We went to a rest stop. Mom was like, no, you're keeping them in the car, and all this drama happened. So that was one of the biggest instances that kind of put me off from religion. I was like, okay, Harry Potter is my world. I can't I can't live life without Harry Potter. I'm like a huge fan, and being at that young age, vulnerability, when people are like, oh, you can't read that, it's evil, it really puts you off. I'm like, okay, this is my favorite thing in the world, you can't just take that from me. So that was a huge reason why religion kind of scared me. So that was the biggest turning point when I was like, okay, I don't know if I want religion in my life, but I still believed in something. I was kind of agnostic at that point. I was like, okay, I think there's something out in the world, but I don't want to deal with religion. I don't want to even go to church. I don't want to deal with it at all. So like all those experiences kind of were like, okay, I don't know if I want to believe anymore, kind of thing. I was like, do I have to? So that's when I started researching stuff. And growing up, the word atheism was a very scary word, and that, I think that's a scary word to a lot of people. It's a very like harsh word. Like at least society teaches you that atheism is a very harsh, scary word, and I am kind of like scared. Like I was really scared of that word. I was like, I don't want to be called that. And it's a very it's a derogatory word now to people. Like they think that atheists don't have morals or values, and I was like, I don't want to be seen as that kind of person. It's like really embarrassing. And so I did more research, and I learned about people like Richard Dawkins, and I read The God Delusion, and this was all when I was like maybe 15, 16 years old. And I was watching a lot of YouTube things and like a lot of research about science and stuff, and a lot of scientists, at least PhD scientists, don't believe because it's a very controversial thing where you can't believe in science and be a religious person at the same time, because science tells you about the Big Bang Theory and that starting the world, and then the Bible tells you about how God created the world and stuff. And ever since I was a child, I never believed that God created the world. Like I believed in him, but I did not believe in them. I believed in evolution and like the apes and, you know, the Big Bang Theory and everything. I just, ever from the start, I just couldn't believe that. Even if I want to be religious again one day, I don't think I could ever believe that God created the world, because it just doesn't seem like a possible thing for something to just poof out of nowhere. Like we live our life, things don't happen that way, and for religious people to say that and they're scared of magic and stuff, it just doesn't make sense to me. So like I said, I was really researching this a lot, and I was like, okay, maybe that's what I am. Maybe that's what I want to be. I lost a lot of friends because of it. People were saying, you're so harsh, you're so heartless, how can you not believe in anything? And like I even brought up the topic a little bit to my mom at the time when I was 16, and she did not like that at all. My mom's not even religious, but like she became more religious after I told her how I felt, because like I said, a lot of people they see that as a very scary word. They don't like the idea of not believing in anybody who's controlling our destinies and our fate in our world. And like a lot of family members feel very uncomfortable with that. Even my brother and my sister thought it was kind of weird. So like fast forward a few years to like around this time, like everyone's kind of accepted the fact that I don't really have any belief, but I'm not very open about it. When people talk about it, I kind of lie and say, oh yeah, I kind of believe in something, but I'm not religious. Like I lie because I don't like putting myself in situations that are uncomfortable, and like when I'm around coworkers or like kind of even close friends, I try not to say too much about it, because I feel like, I don't think it's offensive directly, especially to people who care about you and stuff, but it can be offensive to some people who feel strongly about their beliefs, and it kind of sucks that society teaches us that it's not good for us to talk about how we feel. But now I've been really curious about religion, and I would like to become, I wouldn't say I would like to become a spiritual person, but I am very interested in spirituality, and I don't know if I could ever believe there's someone in this world that's creating the world and creating our fates and like creating life on earth. Like that's a very hard thing for me to believe now that I've put in like about 6 or 7 years worth of not believing at all. Things just kind of change after a while, and I'm just like, maybe there is something. I don't believe there's anything out there like controlling everything, but I believe there could be a possibility of some kind of unnatural human being, like an unnatural being in the world that does have a little control over our fates. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like a very confusing topic. At the same time, when I think about believing, it's something I would like to try doing, or like discovering religion. Like there are some religions like Buddhism and Hinduism that's kind of interesting to me, that I would like to try to understand more about, and I want to learn more about religions. but at the same time, I don't know if I want to commit myself to a religion. And I know some like non-denominational churches are cool, but at the same time I don't like church at all. I think it's boring, and I'm not trying to say that to be offensive to anyone. I just don't like sitting through a speech talking about why we should be good people when I know I'm already a good person without any religion. And I'm also like put off at the thought that religion controls our morality, when I feel like as an atheist, my morality is okay without anyone telling me that we should do this because we want to get into heaven, we should do this because we don't want to go to hell. I don't like that. I don't like that philosophy at all. Like, we should do things because something is making us do that, because there's an incentive to it. I think we should be good people because we want to be good people. So if you have a religion you are very happy about and you're very comfortable in, please leave it down in the comments below, because I'd love to learn more about your religions. I'm open to all religions, and I don't think I will ever commit myself to religion, but it is a spirituality journey that I would love to try to get into one day. And I don't know if I'll always be a 100% hardcore atheist like I have been in the past, but I'm starting to deteriorate from that path and become an agnostic again, because there is a chance that there could be something in the world, but I'm not quite sure. So thanks so much for watching my very first video. It's super controversial. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but this is my anonymous channel that I would like to get my very personal thoughts out on. So like I said, thanks for watching.